Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk, Real Sports. My co-host here, Michael Sanchez, and I'm your host, Anthony Sanchez. We're back for another Sunday to talk to you about what's been going on this past week. What we have going on. First topic is the NFL Combine, the 2014 NFL Combine that will be live February 22nd through the 25th, live only on the NFL Network channel. So if you want to watch and stay tuned to see the new up-and-coming guys, by all means, turn to the NFL Network and view to February 22nd through the 25th. We have a couple names out there that people are talking about. Three of the top names that are being thrown out there for the first overall pick are Teddy Bridgewater from Louisville. You got the quarterback from Texas A&M, Johnny Manziel, and the defensive end from South Carolina, Jadeveon Clowney. So out of those three, who do you think has the best shot at making the number one overall pick?
It's gonna be a real tough one this year. I mean, it all depends on who actually holds that number one spot. As it looks right now, you have the Texans. They do need some help at quarterback. People like Johnny Manziel are those popular picks nowadays, but somebody like me, I love defense. Jadeveon Clowney is at the top of the boards right now, but I don't know if he's that guy you want to take number one overall.
Well, I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, I look at these three names, Johnny Manziel, Jadeveon Clowney, Teddy Bridgewater, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not sold on any of those three being the number one overall pick. I think if Houston selects Johnny Manziel, it's going to be a mistake. I think they're going off of him being from Texas, living up to this folklore of the hero running around and making plays. I just don't think at his size, at how he plays the game, that it's suitable for the NFL. He's going to get hit on a lot of plays. Look what's happened to Cam Newton trying to do that in the beginning of his career. Look what's happened to Robert Griffin III doing that. I mean, even Ryan Tannehill, who has some struggle at staying in the pocket and moving around, you see that it's not the same. The speed has changed. I don't think that if you're building a franchise, that Johnny Manziel is going to be the best choice right now. That's just my opinion. I think the Texans are sold that he might be.
I agree with you there. I mean, he is definitely undersized at. What is he? 5'9", maybe 5'10".
They're giving him.
Only person he has right now that's helping him with this draft is going to be Russell Wilson. I mean, he's the only person they can compare him to try to get him up there, to get people to take a look at him. I mean, he was impressive in Texas. He's extremely impressive. He does bring a lot of people to games.
Texas A&M. Remember, he went to Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. Sorry.
But I mean, I understand what you're saying. But at the end of the day, the point is that Russell Wilson has a skill set of being a real quarterback. He can move around the pocket. He's accurate throwing the ball. He's not looking to run. Where Johnny Manziel, the way I see him, he plays a little more reckless than even Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger is 6'5", 255, 260 pounds. He can get away with that. Johnny Manziel, I don't think he can get away with that in the NFL. Again, though, I mean, that is the Texans' number one overall choice. You got to respect that. That's what they feel is going to help them win. We'll see. Jadeveon Clowney kind of scares me. I don't see him as being this top pick that you can rely on. It just seemed like in South Carolina, he took a lot of plays off, was kind of trying to reserve himself for the NFL.
I don't know. The guy's very dominant, man. When he breaks through that line, the hits that he makes in the backfield, the ruckus he causes, I mean, when he's on top of his game, he is the best right now.
Oh, no, I hear you. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he could be a top 5 pick. I just wouldn't want to invest my money in a guy that seems like he's worried more about the way he is, the way you view him, about his stock. It's one of those guys that almost kind of seems like he's just betting all his chips to get that first contract, that signing bonus, and then what do you have left? I don't know. He's kind of an iffy one. And then
what about Teddy Bridgewater?
Well, Teddy Bridgewater, the only thing bad about him is you're looking at what's going on with Geno Smith. Geno Smith, he has a lot to grow in, but was he ready to be a first pick? I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't the number one overall pick, but he comes from that spread offense, that spread around the field. I mean, it's a top 3 names that are kind of dicey to talk about.
Well, one thing we can say about Teddy Bridgewater is that he has shown nothing but improvement. He's been a quarterback that hasn't declined. Ever since high school, he's only gotten better. Went into Louisville, got better and better. And now, into the NFL, let's see what he does. Number one overall pick, you're right. I don't agree with it.
I mean, at the end of the day, we know that the draft is not an exact science. So, that's why these guys get evaluated, they get scouted. And, all you can do is roll the dice and hope that your scouts have done the best that they can to evaluate this guy. Just to touch on real quick, February 22nd for all of you that will be watching. And now we'll be moving on to our next topic of the day, which is the Miami Marlins organization. We got spring training coming up. What do you think about the Marlins this season coming up?
Man, got a very young core, promising team. By the end of last season, they were starting to look good. Hopefully, with these new acquisitions that they made during the offseason, it'll help them to bring more fans to the game and, start getting their name up there on top of the East again.
Well, spring training is definitely around the corner. Pitchers and catchers for the Marlins report on February 16, 2014. So, we'll be looking forward to seeing Jose Fernandez getting back on the mound. Some of these young arms that we had out there that were basically kept us alive in a lot of these games. I know the record doesn't show it. We had about 100 losses during the season, so we were basically one of the worst teams in baseball, if not the worst. And but there was talent there. A lot of people forget that we lost these games like 3-2, 2-1 run games.
Definitely very competitive games. These guys were scrappy. They're definitely out there to play. They're not all about the money, as you know.
No, definitely not playing for the Marlins can be all about the money because they're definitely not paying. But also the rest of the team will report on February 20th, 2014. We should have the full squad ready to get going, with the first spring training game being on February 26th when your Miami Marlins take on the University of Miami as the kickoff to spring training. 4 members that they acquired during the offseason that are veterans that I want to touch on. We got Jaroslav Telemakia.
Oh, yeah. He's a very great catcher. The guy was doing great out there in Boston. Hopefully he can come here and do the same thing, and if not better.
Well, he's definitely going to bring a winning attitude, bringing that World Series ring that he got from the Red Sox last season. Had a good pitching staff. Now he gets to grab onto a young pitching staff and hopefully can work off with Jose Fernandez and turn him not only into what the Rookie of the Year that he was, but now into one of the top starters in the National League and in all of baseball.
You got Rafael Furcal coming in also, bringing in that veteran leadership. Personally, I've always liked this guy. 37 years old, he's getting to the end of his career, but at least it'll solidify that locker room, bring in some more encouragement. He does have a championship, hopefully.
But no, I understand what you're saying about Rafael Furcal. He brings the experience to an infield that's actually pretty young. But he has proven he has a glove, he can hit. At 37 years old, he's going to bring experience. Right now, at this point of his career, he's not looking for the big money. He's not looking to prove anything. He's been there, done that. He's basically now just trying to be a part of a team and be competitive. The Marlins also added at first base, that they traded away Logan Morrison. So we added Garrett Jones from the Pittsburgh Pirates.
That's a big guy.
Yeah, he's 6'4", 230. He's he's been a consistent hitter. Averaging about 254 in about 708 games. I think he has 102 home runs with 330 RBIs. I think that's pretty good considering he hasn't been that long in the league.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's very promising numbers for a guy who hasn't been around too long. Pretty average. I take that over somebody who's just going to give me a hit every other night.
Don't get me wrong. Logan Morrison tried his hardest. He gave us what he could, but he was a guy that was injured often. And he just didn't live up to being one of the top prospects that we had in the farm system. And I know we ended up getting a veteran arm in the bullpen. Can you speak about him?
Carlos Marmol. This guy, he's a great pitcher. He's definitely going to bring another guy who's going to bring in that experience, that veteran leadership, probably help some of the younger guys around the bullpen inside the club.
Yeah, to add on top of that, he basically brings the experience in a closing role. And don't worry, Marlin fans, Steve Cishek is still going to be our closer. He's there basically as a backup, as an insurance in case Cishek goes down, or to provide an 8th inning setup guy. This guy has done it for a lot of years, has a lot of saves in relieving and closing. Carlos Marmol definitely brings that experience to the Marlins. Again, stay tuned for the Marlins coming up in spring training. February 16th is when the catchers and the pitchers report. February 20th is when the full squad reports, and February 26th is when we take on the University of Miami in our first spring training game. So stay tuned for Real Talk Real Sports. We'll definitely be bringing you back more updates on the Miami Marlins spring training. And now I know a lot of... Alright, the next topic we're going to talk about, and it's the most important topic that we have to hit on, right now is the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat have had a roller coaster season up and down. I know a lot of people out there get a little carried away with, are we choking? Are we not the same team? Are we not focused? Is there distractions? I mean, what's your take on this?
Listen, man, the Miami Heat, they are the best, okay? And this is what happens when you're the best. You're going to be the biggest target out there. People are going to look at whether you sneeze the wrong way, whether you walk the wrong way, or your shoelace is tied the right way. They're going to look at any small imperfection they can. The Miami Heat are coasting. They're 2.5 games, 3 games behind first base. The Pacers are killing themselves to hold on to that first spot. And the Miami Heat, people are talking bad about them, criticizing them, and look at them. They're coasting. Wait until the playoffs come. Wait until that last 20-game stretch comes, and you'll see how the Heat turn it up and win 17 out of those 20 games.
Well, I mean, and the reports that we've seen here in the last 10 games, they've had 3 losses. I mean, they've lost a couple games there, 1 to Atlanta. Well, I mean, and the reports that we've seen here in the last 10 games, they've had 3 losses. I mean, they've lost a couple games there, 1 to Atlanta, 1 to OKC. That one was pretty bad. And the 1 to Utah last night, for anybody who saw that game. I mean, to me, they looked a little lazy. They looked like there was no flow to the offense. A lot of one-on-ones. It just seems like the Heat right now are kind of bored with the season. They're just kind of going through the motions. I hope that it's just something that they're going through, just kind of trying to find different pieces to flow through the game, getting them ready for the playoffs, maybe with some of the new additions that they've added. They're just trying to work things out. But, I mean, I don't think it's something that we should overreact. We know that this is what they've done before. They get into these areas, these times where they run into slumps. But a lot of times it's Coach Spoelstra just trying to put things together. You know, you got Greg Oden who's in the mix now. They're slowly trying to get him in. You've seen him a couple times. What do you think about Greg Oden lately?
Oh, Greg Oden, man.
In the mix now. They're slowly trying to get him in. You've seen him a couple times. What do you think about Greg Oden lately?
Oh, Greg Oden, man. Hey, I like the guy. I just hope he remains healthy. As long as he keeps healthy, they are in great shape. Greg Oden is a force to be reckoned with. Very physical down there. Roy Hibbert's going to notice there's a man down there when Greg Oden is on the court. And you know that's the specialty right there. Eric Spoelstra has not presented his starting lineup yet. He is waiting. Eric Spoelstra is a mastermind. He's going to wait until playoffs come, and then he's going to give you that strong, hard lineup, which most likely I have a feeling it's going to be Bosh, Oden, Rio, Wade, and LeBron.
Well, I mean, the Heat definitely have a lot to play with. That is the good thing about this Heat team, is a team that is full of veterans, that is not there to jog for time or not push away from the spotlight. I think it's just a bunch of guys that have come here that are willing to put their egos aside to get a championship. We have a team that already has 3 championships, 2 with LeBron, and Ray Allen got another one with us last year. You got the Birdman who got his first ring last year. So now you add a guy like Rashard Lewis who last year got his first ring as well. And now, you bring in other players like Michael Beasley, who was here, first of all, with us. Didn't pan out, but now he's back, and he's willing just to...
He's hungry. He's hungry. He saw what his team did when he left, and he wants to be a part of that. He wants to feel what it is to be an NBA champion. He's only experienced it through what his peers have told him, but he hasn't been able to experience it himself.
I mean, and to touch on the Heat game last night, I mean... LeBron only scored 13 points. D. Wade only had 19, and Chris Bosh had 13. I mean, it didn't seem like they were just into that game at all.
They were off yesterday, not really hitting their shots. They were a little flat. Seemed like one of those games that they were a little lazy. A team like Utah, I mean, we all know this is a team they shouldn't have struggled with. They definitely should have won this game. But hey, we all have our bad nights. We've seen the worst beat the best at times. But the most important thing is that the best don't get beat when it comes down to it, and that's playoff and championship time.
Now, my question to you is, and I laugh a little bit about this because you find the Indiana Pacers' obsession with the Miami Heat a little disturbing. I mean, is it just me, or is it just it's getting a little scary to just listen to them? They sound like an ex-girlfriend that doesn't want to leave.
Well, that's what's going on here. You see, the Pacers are more concerned about beating the Miami Heat than their focus, which is the NBA championship. They have to realize they need to beat the West to win the championship, not the Miami Heat. Their main concern is on the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat, they're not worried about the Pacers because they beat them already.
Yeah, but remember, I mean, to get to play that West Coast team, you got to go through the Heat, and they're right now they just seem so obsessed. So it's kind of uncomfortable.
It would be sad if they go ahead and don't even make it to that Eastern Conference championship.
I mean, but don't get me wrong. If you watch the Indiana Pacers, they do look like they're on a mission. Lance Stevenson all of a sudden has turned it on to a guy that you you got to ready with him. I mean, the guy's driving, he's shooting, he's playing.
He's a hell of a swing man.
I mean, he's looking a little crazy himself out there, the way he acts, the way he looks at people. So it's like,
Paul George is tearing it up. He's an all-star. We've been watching rise.
George Hill's been playing good. Roy Hibbert has had some moves this season to his game.
I can't take anything away from the West. I mean, from the Indiana Pacers, they are a great team. David West is a beast. They just added Andrew Bynum to give him a big man in there. I mean,
yeah, well, that's what I mean. It just seems like every time we make a move or we're doing something to counter them, it seems like they're trying to do something to just basically put us in a position where we're stuck. I mean, I look at the Pacers and I think of it this way. I mean, they're a rough, rugged team, but they might have a lot on their mind, and a lot on their mind is just the Heat at this point. But you also got to keep in mind, they've beat two teams that we've kind of struggled with. I mean, they beat Golden State pretty handily, and we got beat down by Golden State. And they just beat, they didn't beat them down, but they actually took the Blazers into overtime and beat the Blazers in overtime. So, I mean,
those are two great West teams that you just spoke about right there. That, hey, careful, they can't be in the championship too.
I mean, so for Miami Heat fans out there, I mean, look, from our point of view is don't freak out yet. I mean, I think the Heat right now are just coasting. So they know they're going to get in the playoffs, and they're trying to keep their guys healthy. You know, they're trying to manage Dwayne Wade. They're trying to give Bosh his minutes to keep him rolling along. LeBron I think he's trying not to tire himself out. They're trying to get the role players to find their way around on the team. And Greg Oden is definitely trying to get him his minutes to get ready for the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Spo knows what he's doing. He's just keeping these guys fresh, rotating them in and out, make sure they all get the proper minutes played, and they are ready for the playoffs. That is their mindset. As the Pacers are ready and waiting for the Heat are just waiting for the playoffs. And
real quick, I just want to touch on this one last thing. Stephen A. Smith and Dan Le Batard. I mean, you guys, you just got to shake hands and get it over with. I mean, come on. Stephen A., seriously. I mean, what kind of reporting is that? 50-50 that LeBron is going to play for the Heat. I mean, that's like 50-50 chance I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be alive.
Hey, I got a better one for you, Stephen A. There's a 50-50 chance Dan Marino is coming back to quarterback Dolphins.
No, I got a better one. 50-50 chance I'm going to win the lottery. I mean, seriously, what kind of reporting and journalism is that? I mean, and it's kind of reckless for I mean, what kind of reporting is that? 50-50 that LeBron is going to play for the Heat. I mean, that's like 50-50 chance I'm going to wake up tomorrow and be alive.
Hey, I got a better one for you, Stephen A. There's a 50-50 chance Dan Marino is coming back to quarterback Dolphins.
No, I got a better one. 50-50 chance I'm going to win the lottery. I mean, seriously, what kind of reporting and journalism is that? I mean, and it's kind of reckless for you to sit there and say, that you didn't speak to LeBron or not even his brother. Nobody. You spoke to somebody who knows LeBron and who says that he thinks that LeBron's going to go to Cleveland or maybe New York. Really? I mean, come on, think about it. It's like asking one of us right now, where's LeBron going? Okay, well, where's LeBron going?
Hey, LeBron's going to Denver.
LeBron's going to the Clippers. I mean, seriously, 50-50 chance that he's going there, right? 50-50?
Come on, Steven. Just cut it out.
At the end of the day, come on, report facts. If you tell me right now that you've spoken to LeBron, you've spoken to his agent, I got you. I understand. You tell me you At the end of the day, come on, report facts. If you tell me right now that you've spoken to LeBron, you've spoken to his agent, I got you. I understand. You tell me you spoke to Pepito from around the corner, that's a different story. Everybody has their own opinion. You can't go out there and report things like that. That's reckless on your part. You get the fans all excited over nothing. You get people talking over nothing. You become more of a personality on TV than a journalist. Report the facts. The facts are nobody knows. Only LeBron knows. And I think he's learned from the decision not to go about it that way again. Let the man play out his last year. Let him make a decision. But he's going to go about it a different way this year. There's no way for you to go ahead and judge a man off of somebody's opinion. You can only report. Report next time that nobody knows. That maybe he might think about it. But don't sit there and say there's a 50-50 chance and you have sources. I mean, I don't know what your take on that
Stephen A. Cleveland. Kyrie Irving is trying to find a way to leave Cleveland. Why would LeBron want to go back into that?
I mean, come on. Kyrie Irving's killing himself over there. And I mean, yeah, they're trying something. But at the end of the day, that management up there in Cleveland is not doing Kyrie any favors, okay? And it didn't do LeBron any favors. And that's why LeBron had to leave. What happened now? LeBron has 2 championships under his belt. That's all the guy wanted in Cleveland. So for you to sit there and report these obscenities that he's going to make it, he's 50-50, and you've spoken to this guy, look. Report when you've actually spoken to LeBron or his agent where he's going. Right now, we have the rest of the 2014 season. We haven't even reached the All-Star game yet. Let us worry about the rest of the season. My take is, we'll find out when LeBron is ready to make his decision. Let him have his time. Right now, he's focused in on the season to go for a 3rd championship. I don't know. That's what I say. What do you guys have to say?
All I gotta say is Stephen A. Stop it. Stop it there.
Better go.
No
man.
more 50-50s.
No more 50-50.
Next time, call a friend.
Use a lifeline. But whatever you do, don't go out there making accusations or these judgment calls that you think you've spoken to anybody. When you speak to LeBron or you speak to his agent or somebody in that circle, then you can make that report. Don't get damn Levitard because he called you out. You've been called out. How many times have you called out Skip Bayless? Okay? And Skip Bayless is no other Saints. Don't get me started on you, Skip Bayless. You're for another show. Well, that's basically it for today. This is my co-host, Michael Sanchez. This is Anthony Sanchez, your host. That's Real Talk Real Sports. Don't forget to keep following us every Sunday. Subscribe to the show. Follow us. We keep it real. We don't hide anything from the fans. From Miami, we're keeping it real. This is Real Sports, Real Talk. Till next time. Bye-bye.